Somebody's gonna make the mistake of actually thinking that's my favorite song. It's not.
Right. Not your favorite? I thought it
It's
was.
not my favorite song. No, it's not.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the way you be jumping around, I'm like, hey.
But it does get me going.
Right. Got a nice little beat. Nice
Nice
little
little
beat
beat. Yep,
behind it.
yep, yep, yep. Welcome
Mm,
back, welcome back, welcome back, everybody. Y'all know what today is. Hey,
right.
one of the last few water cooler Wednesdays.
All right. All right. So, welcome. And today we're going to talk about something that every buyer and investor needs to understand before they go into a property and be like, I just loved it. I love this property.
It's
I love it. I love it. I love it.
right. Oh, it's so wonderful.
Right. So wonderful. Right. So we're going to talk about the cash flow versus appreciation. Right. Like, what are those? What does that mean? Right. So, two
Yes.
different ways in real estate can make sense.
Hmm.
So we want to just kind of explore and share more because this month is we're in June and we're talking about investing and being a small investor
Investment.
and getting into investing. And so understanding your cash flow is really important if you want to be a successful investor. All
That's
right. So my name is Dione Branch, and I am with Allure Dream Homes, brokered by EXP.
and I am Lisa J. White, the House Money Mama, powered by Nexa Lending. That sounds so
Yeah, right.
we're
Sorry,
working on that
commercials.
voice, right?
Right, commercials. Right. All right, all right, all right, all right. So you ready to start with appreciation?
Yeah, let's just jump right in.
Okay, all right. So this appreciation is about long term value,
Okay.
right? So they say it means that the property may be more worth more to later than it actually is today,
Yeah.
right? So buying in the area that's kind of up and coming, kind of things like that. That's how appreciation. So you definitely want your property to appreciate, right? We talk about some people talk about a car. You get a car, you drive it off the lot, and it depreciates, right? Right.
Right, it go down.
So when we talk about buying a car versus buying a house, your property, you want your property to appreciate. All right. So and a lot of this, it happens because of the location, the demands, schools, transportation,
Mhm.
new developments coming in the neighborhood,
Yep.
neighborhood improvements, and limited investment. So all of those things are what actually makes your property appreciate in value because something is happening, whereas you can buy it for one price and then later on 2 years later down the line it could actually be worth a whole lot more or just more, right? So
Yep. Well, remember we talked about that just a few weeks ago, I think it was, when we were discussing um how to evaluate, this part like evaluating house. Was that when we had the gentleman that came on that talked about real estate investment? I don't remember. But
mhm,
but yeah, so you have so many different things that could factor into what makes a property have that I don't even know what to call it. That special edge where it's going to be able to appreciate, so it'll be worth more.
mhm,
But I think location is really, really a big part. That
yeah.
location, because and it don't mean that it's always the same location.
No, it's not. I
Yeah,
think location is one, and then also development, right? So especially in Chicago now, there's a lot of areas that may not have been um desirable, right? Before. And so a lot of people have kind of started to buy in those areas, creating, buying fix and flips and things like that. So then that it has been helping the value of the neighborhood to go up. And
Right.
that's where you start to see different people walking in your
Right.
neighborhood,
I'm like, "Well, they
things
live
like
over
that.
here."
Right, right. They like walking down the street. You're like, what's going on?
Gentrification, that's what they call it. That's that word.
Yes, yes, gentrification. But gentrification is not always just. It does help with appreciation,
Yeah.
but I think gentrification is kind of thought of in a negative way as well, in some
Mhm.
sense. And so I'm kind of
You wanna stay away from that
from,
word.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but
When
it
when
is.
when an area becomes more desirable though, you got different people moving into it, then that can, regardless of how you feel about gentrification, that can push up values though, so
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But and that is the fact, right? Become the property coming more desirable, more people kind of coming in. But then is it always gentrification or
mm,
right? It can just be that now, your own people are kind of coming in and buying those same houses, things like that. So
yep,
that
yep,
was it.
that's true. So from the realtor side, what do you look at?
Um,
What
well, you're looking.
property?
I get, yeah. I mean, you're looking at whether the property definitely has a resale, right? Like, unless she's throwing these trick questions at me, like,
And you said, "Don't get on there acting up today," and I said, "I probably will."
right, right. Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? It's like, But yeah, you really looking at the resale value, right? So that definitely tells you if your property appreciates
Right.
and later on, like what I could actually sell for, right?
Yeah. I would think that appraisals could help with that too, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot
Mhm.
of times they can, because I know definitely when they do, what do you call them? Like renovation loans, the
Yeah.
appraisal to give you an idea of what the property value will be after the renovation. I would
After.
think the same way, they probably could just give you an idea of like, because all of that is really statistics and not algorithms, but there's another word for it. A young friend of mine actually is in that field where all they do is like, numbers. All
Mhm.
they do is
Yeah.
analyze statistics and stuff like that. And they can actually project, like what the value
Well,
of the house
right.
will be in, 5 years, 10 years, things like that. And they're usually pretty accurate.
Yeah, yeah. And as a realtor, you're going to do what's called a CMA, or market value, market analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of gives you an idea. That helps investors when they're trying to figure out their return on investment, right?
Yeah.
So they may not be staying in it for a long term, and so really taking advantage of the appreciation value, but
Hmm.
they can get short term appreciation, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I
mhm.
A deal that I'm working on now is a non-QM deal out of Texas. The gentleman that this couple is buying this house from, they've been Airbnb in it for like 12 months, I think. But
Mhm.
the person they're buying it from, they took this home, I think they may have bought it for like $100,000 and did some renovations to it. I don't know how much they put into it. Let's just say they put 100 into it, but they're about to sell it now, only a year and a half later, for $500,000.
Wow, yeah.
And it's more than likely gonna appraise, and it's
Mhm.
definitely showing the rental income because we have the history from they call it Air DNA, I think. They give
Mhm.
reports and tell you how much a person has been able to charge for rent, with that particular residence. So
Okay. Oh wow. Oh wow. All right. So
I know, right?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, as the seller, that's great. As the buyer, you're buying kind of at the top. So that's when you talk about the appreciation and the cash value, is it really actually going to be there because you're buying something such high. But
Mhm.
let's talk about why it matters in Chicago, right? In the Chicagoland.
Well, before we get to that, can let's
Okay.
just kind of give the opposite side because we talked a lot about appreciation, but
Oh,
there's
okay.
also the monthly money conversation too, because you might want to get some cash flow. So maybe you might be looking at a place where it may not appreciate as fast as you like, but you can get a good bang for your buck as far as the rent goes, because cash flow is really going to be like what's left over after the rent comes in and all the expenses go out. So that means that we're not just subtracting the mortgage, but we're also going to have to think about taxes, the
Right.
homeowners insurance, any
Expenses.
repairs,
Hmm.
right, utilities,
Hmm.
maintenance, property management if you don't do it yourself, and then of course if you're in a place where there's a homeowners association, then you got to pay those HOA fees too. So when somebody says, "Oh, the rent is $2,200 and the mortgage is only $1,900, I'm gonna clear $300 every month." Not so much. No, you won't, because you have to slow down and think about the other things that get paid after the mortgage. That 1,900 is just your base for what needs to be paid every month, but there'll be other expenses too that you have to take into consideration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, why does this matter in Chicagoland?
Yeah. Well, it's because Chicago's not just like a single market, right? So Chicago has a lot of different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so we have neighborhoods, we have south suburbs, west suburbs, northwest suburbs, northwest Indiana. Like,
Right.
you
It's
know,
really,
all of it just behaves differently. So
yeah.
you can be in one area of Chicago and, experience a different value in a home compared to another, right? So,
Mhm.
so some areas could give you a stronger rent compared to the purchase price.
Mhm.
Whereas, so let's, example is up north. Maybe you purchase something up north, and then in north side of Chicago, not northern suburbs, but even there too.
Right. Yeah.
But north downtown area, northern area, Lincoln Park, things like that, the
Yeah.
rent can definitely be a lot higher if you're purchasing, or purchasing a house and renting it out
Mhm.
um, in the south side of Chicago. So
Okay.
definitely a difference, and west side. Like, so there's difference in neighborhoods, and some neighborhoods in Chicago could have actually more higher value. Things like Beverly, even though it's on the south side, so it's not like that south side is all bad. There's other areas on the south side, South Shore, and some of those areas that have some
Beverly,
nicer
really
price.
Beverly Hills. Like they Beverly Hills for real. They
Yeah.
expensive.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
Right, right. And some areas may cost more, but have a stronger resale demand. So, you can be purchasing a house, like she says, this house is $500,000. But realistically, as they stay with the house over so many years, they actually, the house may even double some more,
Appreciate more.
depending.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right, depending on the neighborhood and stuff. So that's not in Chicago, but the same thing can happen in Chicago as well. Chicago, Indiana, any of our servicing areas. All right.
Yep. Absolutely.
So so investors can't just say, I want to buy in Chicago. Yeah, I hate that. I hate when people say I want to buy in Chicago. Or even if they say I want to buy in the south suburbs.
Yeah.
What does that mean to me? Right?
Right. Right.
Right. That doesn't, that South suburbs. Okay. Right. It's
Which
like right, right. Like they were like, show them a house. They were like, I didn't want to move to Hazel Crest. Well, you said South suburbs,
South
right?
suburbs, right. This is a South suburb.
Right. I'm not interested in the. Okay, well, you said South suburbs. So yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, and so when you're purchasing, you always need to know what type of return you actually are looking for. Like
Yeah.
what are you expecting? And what is workable for you. So that's definitely
Absolutely. That's some good,
important.
strong, solid advice. Very good.
Hmm.
And I would say to add to that from the lending side that Chicagoland investors also have to kind of respect the payment. We talk about this a lot because it is big in our area, but property taxes.
Hmm.
Property taxes can vary drastically from one place to another. City versus suburbs, south versus west or north. It can be a huge difference. And then insurance costs also can change, you know.
Right. Can definitely be a difference as well. Right.
Hmm.
Even if the person prior to you purchasing was kind of abusive with the insurance, so that's a very difficult as well because now you're suffering because the person prior to had multiple claims on that same house.
Right. Unfortunately, you're right because they do look at the claims on that property, and that has an impact on the quote and how they provide coverage. So, yep, very good point. So, interest rates, of course, can affect affordability as well. That's not now that is something we have a little bit of control over, but you probably have more control over it than I do. By coming in with your credit together. Either that or talking to Maurice before we get you out there looking. So, even if the rent looks good, the final payment might tell a little bit of a different story once we take everything into consideration. So, these are all numbers that you want to be serious about these numbers because this is ultimately going to impact your bottom line and affect how you do business as a real estate investor. So,
Yeah,
that's really important. This is why I tell buyers before we crown a property as a good deal, we have to run the numbers.
yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. I think it is about the numbers, and so you should always look into that. Making sure that you understand what you're buying into, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So when would you say that cash flow matters the most?
Right. Well, you tell me when does you feel that the cash flow matters the most?
Well, I would say it matters the most when the buyer needs the property to help carry itself right away. So, like for example, we do DSCR loans. So
Mm-hmm.
DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio, and what that basically means is that the debt that you're taking on is covering the mortgage. So if your rental payment, in other words, is going to be more or equal to your mortgage payment, then you're good because the property really kind of carries itself. So
Right.
all you have to do is just rent it out, and you're good to go. So it's common with investors who are trying to build monthly income or looking at 2 to 4 unit properties where the rental income is help offsetting that mortgage payment. That's when I think that's one of the times I would say that cash flow probably matters the most. Because obviously, if you don't, now we do have lenders. I'm gonna be honest. I do have lenders that will say it's okay if your rent is actually less than your mortgage. But I'm gonna be honest. I think that's too risky. I don't like doing loans like that because it's too risky. Because if you're already starting off at a deficit, to me that's a
Mm-hmm.
huge red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really care that much for it.
Right. Because even as an investor, you have to have that additional cash flow because there's always something that's gonna come up, when you're actually um in the house, right? So things that things that can happen are sorry. Things that can happen are water tank.
Yeah,
Water tank. I just had to replace one. Right? Water tank, your furnace could have issues.
yeah.
Your tenant could just be running your water like crazy.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
They don't
Mess-
pay it, they don't care. Just let it run. We're good.
right. Just
Yeah,
messing up your estimate of what you think the water would actually cost.
right.
Are you really dirty? Are you real, real dirty?
I'm gonna need y'all to take showers between 5 and 5:45.
Right. Right. We're not doing this, right? So it's definitely important to kind of run those numbers. Right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. So positive cash flow means that the property can survive real ownership. That includes vacancy, repairs, capital expenses, and those unexpected costs.
Yeah, all the stuff I just talked about. Right.
Yeah.
Right. From the real estate side, when somebody wants cash flow, I'm looking for practical things. Right? Is the realistic for the area? And
Mm,
so, yeah, I have a landlord's asking me to share her 2 units for rent, and
okay.
I went to view the units,
Mm,
and was kind of concerned. She was looking at 1,600 for the rent, and yeah, it was a 2 bedroom, but I'm not sure she's gonna get that value for what she's
yeah.
looking for in the area that she's in
Mhm.
and the size of
Yeah.
the unit itself. So,
Okay.
uh, but it's a
That's
probably
why it's so important to have somebody like you that does CMAs and can get a
yeah.
realistic idea of what, you'll be able to charge. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, and that was it. I gave some pointers and stuff and left said, okay, this is it. But Um, so I probably will have those 2 units to rent out. Anybody looking for a rental, let me know. Right. So is the property close to the transportation, jobs, and services? That's important. Even grocery stores,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So things like that. Is the layout functional? That was kind of one of my concerns with her rental. It only had one small room and then went into the kitchen. So it was kind of like an open floor plan, but the open was really small.
Mm,
Right. So
small open floor plan.
small open floor plan. Yeah. Right.
That's different.
Hmm. So yeah, is the building condition going to eat up your profit, right? So do you
Yeah.
Yeah, are you gonna have to constantly do some repairs in order to get it up to speed? So those are definitely some things that you want to look for. So, and cash flow is
Some
not just about the room.
are older, but they look really nice. You don't get the same kind of craftsmanship for the newer buildings that we have coming on the market. But
Hmm.
an older house can have some older problems.
Problems.
Some older
Yeah.
house problems. So
Right.
I
Yep.
thought that was a really good point. Is the building condition going to eat up the profit? That's really,
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, you could have old water lines, right? You could even you have to be careful because your electricity is older as well in an older home, and
yeah.
making sure that um no one's trying to cause a fire by plugging in all our new technology to this old building.
Right. Where them GOCR cords,
Right.
outlets.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, like I said, it's not just about the rent, it's also about the demand and the condition of the property.
Absolutely. And if the property needs major stuff like a roof, the furnace, plumbing being replaced, or any kind of major updates, that in and of itself can wipe out months or even years of cash flow. So
Mm,
really you have to, sometimes people, I know they're okay with doing purchases sight unseen, or they don't oh, we're okay with not getting a home inspection, we're going to change this and that anyway. No, you
right.
need to know what you're dealing with, because you could have some unexpected expenses that end up surfacing
Yeah.
because you didn't do that due diligence. So you don't want to treat repairs like a surprise. You want to
Hmm.
investigate that as early as possible.
Yeah. A lot of times I see the buy the house without inspection, things like those are investors, but like experienced investors, and they sometimes they'll not have the inspection, but they'll have a contractor come look at the property. So do a walkthrough so they can get an idea of what the repair costs are going to be, because they already, they're identifying issues and how to resolve those. So,
So
yeah, some type of inspection should always be done on the property.
absolutely. So hopefully you all heard that. She said experienced investors will sometimes do not
Yeah,
having a home inspection. Experienced investors.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I know
yeah.
we get some first timers and like, oh, okay, I can do no experienced investors. That's what they do. You
That's
stick to
okay.
the inexperienced stuff if you don't actually have experience.
You're right. Yeah. Allow people to help you find some mentors that can actually step you through and guide you. Um, that's very important in the beginning, right? And I think Archie spoke on that last week,
He did.
talking about having a lot of different mentors that helped him as far as understand more about
Hmm.
um, the buildings. Although he had experience himself, he did a lot of training to do that, to get that experience, and then taking that real life experiences and putting
Yeah.
it in within his own buildings, but then still looked at for mentors to help him through. And so it does take a lot in order to um, purchase properties, because sometimes I'll even have clients who are looking for properties and looking to, oh, I'm going to not even do a fix and flip, but even doing a rehab and not having that experience with the different contractors that are out here, because contractors can be a whole another ball of worms.
Yeah, they can.
Mhm.
So let's shift just a little bit because we talked about when cash flow matters the most. So when would you say that appreciation matters the most?
Well, when the buyers is thinking long term, right?
Okay. Yep.
hmm Right. So they planning on purchasing something and staying in it for a while, right? So buying the building, having it as a legacy for your children, or wealth, right? We talk about
Yeah.
that a lot. So
Yep.
um, when maybe they don't need big money income today, right? So just having the income, so then by the time they're older and you have this buildings that you can actually just pay out the mortgage and then just have income coming in for retirement,
Mm-hmm.
making your retirement plans,
There you
right?
go. That's not a bad retirement plan.
So buying in the areas where the demand is strong, right? Inventory is tight. So future resale looks. Yeah, so those are definitely some things. And these the buyers cares about the exit strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They want to know
so
who's gonna want this property when it's time to sell.
I understand. Yeah.
Hmm. And this is where buyers need to be patient because appreciation usually doesn't send you a monthly check. You may, excuse me, I said check it, a monthly check. You may not feel it right away, but it does build in the background, through
hmm
and that equity can later create other options, like the selling, refinancing, cashing out, using the equity toward another purchase. Maybe you'll take
Yeah.
some money out of that house and then you use that to acquire another property or make some other kind of investment. Because
Yeah.
all this money doesn't have to necessarily be you investing in real estate. Maybe just have other investment plans, maybe a business or, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever that might be. But at least this gives you a vehicle now to be able to do that.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So I would give one little word to the wise because we talking about a lot of upside, but you do also want to keep in mind that appreciation is never guaranteed. We can study trends, demand, development, past performance, and all that good stuff, but realistically, nobody has a crystal ball. If I had one, I promise you, I would be originating mortgage loans. I'll be
Yeah.
doing that instead.
You're right.
This
Yeah.
time I'd be like, oh, what's that lady's name? Call Cleo, call me now. I'll be like
Yeah.
Cleo before
Right.
jail.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, Lisa, do you wanna?
You want to do the common mistakes?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just talk about some common mistakes.
Okay, what you got?
All right. One mistake I see is buyers chasing the neighborhood name without understanding the numbers.
Mm, okay. What
Yeah.
else you thinking?
Ignoring conditions because the property has potential.
Potential. That's right. Yes, definitely air quotes right there. Definitely.
Right. Potential can be expensive. Right.
Right.
That's what we need y'all to know. Potential can be expensive.
Yes, and
So,
your real estate investment and your interpersonal relationships. Just y'all got that one for free.
right. So, as a buyer, you need to understand the block, especially in Chicago,
Oh,
right? You
yeah.
need to understand the block and not the zip code,
Right.
right? So, you, in Chicago, property neighborhoods could be different from block to block.
Literally from block to block. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's
Mhm.
one of the things that's a little bit unique about our area is that literally you go over one block and you like in a whole different segment of the city. So yes. Yeah,
Right.
that
What did I do? I mean, you could go down the street and it's so funny. I've seen it where I've gone down the street
mhm.
and it's smooth, then it goes bumpy, then it gets bumpier, then it gets smooth again, and like, what's happening with these
You're like,
roads?
what is going on?
Yeah, I can tell which neighborhoods I was in
Oh my
very
goodness, that's
easily.
hilarious.
And
So
so,
on my side, I see buyers kind of underestimating the full payment. They don't take into account the taxes, insurance, and repairs and stuff that we talked about earlier and needing reserves. And then they may also assume that rent can always be used to help them qualify, but sometimes lending guidelines might be different. So we have to make sure things are properly documented and know what percentages we can use and things like that. The last thing I would say probably is that buying too tight, like not giving yourself enough room. Saying,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, the we can charge $2,000, for rent, so it's okay if the mortgage is $2,000." Well, technically, for lending standards, there are loans I can put you into where that is okay, but is
Hmm.
it the best idea? Is it,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
I think that's really important because I think from previous experience buying properties and buying them and not really knowing what the rent can actually give you
Yeah,
later on, and so then you find out that, oh, it's really not going to give me enough to really be profitable, right?
yeah,
So that is definitely definitely a concern. But um, there's different things like Rental Meter. That's a
so me,
website where you can
okay,
put in the address of a property and you can get an idea of what rent would be in that zip code. So it gives you, the median, it gives you the max, low, like, so it gives you a range. And then I would just stick with the median. So they could say you 1,200 to 1,500. So don't go in like, oh, I'm getting 1,500. No, it said, right, 12 to
right, right. We
1,500,
go
and
out
they
more
tell you that
like
you
13.
right. They tell you if the median is 1375, that's what you budget off of. Yeah.
Got you. That's good.
Mhm.
Good. Good. See, I see that y'all getting resources from us too.
Yeah.
So, how do you decide what strategy fits the best?
Yeah. And first, you ask yourself, what is my goal?
Hmm.
What are you, right? What's your plans? Your monthly income,
Yeah.
right, your long term equity, right?
Uh-huh.
A place to live with rental income,
That'd be for the house hackers.
right? Mhm. A property I can improve or resell, right?
Hmm.
And your goal determines what kind of property you should be looking for.
Yeah. Can you afford the property if everything doesn't go exactly as planned? Because real estate is wonderful, but it's not always perfect. So,
Yeah.
Tenants move, toilets break, taxes change, insurance change, and life be life.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. All right.
All right. On you.
Oh, okay. Well, cash flow does help with your monthly income. So we want to just kind of wrap it up and let you know, appreciation helps build long-term wealth.
Hmm.
And some properties may offer both, but not every property will, right?
Yeah.
So going in, like we said, know what your goal is, and then you can determine your approach of what you're looking for. And if you find that diamond in the rough, that's great, right? Otherwise, the key is knowing your strategy before you buy.
Absolutely. That's the word
Mhm.
for today. Don't just ask, is this a good property? Ask, is this a good property for my goal? Because a great
Mhm.
appreciation play may not give you strong cash flow today. And a strong cash flow may not be the hottest resale area. So you got to figure out what you're doing. What's your play? And be willing to make adjustments because that might become something you need to do as well. Market shift, things like that. Be ready to pivot, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, all right. So if you're thinking of buying and investing, hacking, your team is here.
Whoop, whoop. I
Right.
don't know
We're
about
here ready for you to help you out. And so, first thing is, we always tell you in the beginning, the first place you need to start is with
lender.
the lender. With the lender, right? So, you can always start with me to discuss goals, but once we get those goals, you need to go to the lender because we need the money.
Right,
Where
right,
we gonna go, right? We can't just dream of the money. We gotta have the money.
right.
Right. So the lender, Lisa White, next to lending, that's her number. Give her a call. And
Yeah,
then if you want to talk to me about getting started, making a plan, preparing, right? We talk about this all the time. Our wonderful P words. So you can give me a call. My number is 773-819-6092. And I can help you. Your credit's not great. We have a partner that can help you with your credit, and we can make a plan. We can determine that plan. You're planning for next year. Let's plan today for
yep,
next year.
yep, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Thank you.
Been fun. Woo, woo.